In this video, we discuss what type of values are allowed in the cases of switch. In the previous video, we have discussed about what type of values are allowed in the switch case expression. But in this video, we see what type of values are allowed in the cases. We see one by one. We see the first example. In the first example, we are giving only integer values in cases. Now we run this program. Now see here. In this example, in the cases we are giving only integer values 65, 66, etc. only integer values. Now we run this program. When n value is 65, we are getting this is 65, etc. Okay, integer values are fine. That means we can give integer values in cases. Now we go for another example. Now we go for second example. In the second example, we are giving character values in cases. Now observe here, we have given character values, capital A, this is a single character constant, as well as capital B. In this fashion, we can also give character values in cases. Now we run this program. As n value is 66, now what is the character that is containing ASCII value 66? That is capital B. This capital B is converted into 66. That's why we got output. This is 66. Now we go for third example. In the third example, we are giving an integer expression in cases. We are giving an integer expression. Now observe here, in the case we are giving integer expression 30 plus 35 minus 0 and 65 plus 1. Now what happens here, when we give n value 65, 65 is matched with this particular expression. Why? Because 30 plus 35, 65 minus 0, finally it evaluates to 65. This particular case is matched. And when we give n value 66, then this particular case will be matched. Now we run this program. Now we got output, this is 65. So why? Because this particular case is matched. This particular case is matched. This is the third scenario. Now we go for next example. We go for fourth example. In the fourth example, we are giving character expression in the cases. That means, in the previous example we have given an expression containing integer values, but in this example we are giving an expression containing character values. Now see here, capital A minus capital A and capital A plus capital A. Now in the switch case expression we are given a value 130. Now we see what happens here. Now we got output, this is 130. Why? Because now this particular case, what is the value for this particular case? Capital A means 65. Again capital A means 65. 65 minus 65, that means this entire case value will result to 0. This is nothing but a case 0. And what about second case? 65 plus 65, and this entire value will become, it will evaluate to 130. That means we are indirectly writing two cases. One is case 0 and another one is case 130. At this particular point of time, 130 is matched with the given case value. That's why we got output, this is the 130. Likewise, we can write a character expression in the cases also. Now we go for another example. Next example. Here we are writing mixed values in cases. That means we are giving integer value as well as character value in a given expression. That is also allowed. Now see this example. capital A minus 0, that means capital A is character constant, 0 is integer value. Now finally it evaluates to capital A means its ASCII value 65. 65 minus 0. That means this value is converted into, finally this value becomes a 65. This is nothing but case 65. And what about this one? Capital A means 65. 65 plus 1. And the entire value is converted into 66. That means this is nothing but, that means we have written two cases, case 65 and case 66, indirectly by using integer and character values. Now if we run this program, we get output this is 65. Why? Because we have given the expression value 65. Likewise, we can give an expression containing both integer values as well as character values in the cases also. Now we go for another example. In this example, let us try to give duplicate values in the cases. Now observe here. What is the first case value? 65. Okay, fine. This is integer value. And what about the second case value? It is capital A minus 0. What is capital A? Its ASCII value 65 minus integer value 0, and finally it evaluates to 65. That means now there are two cases with the same value, that is 65 and 65. That is not allowed. Why? Because compiler will generate a error. Why? Because duplicate case values are not allowed. Now you see what happens if we run this program. Now we are getting output here. What is output here? Duplicate case value previously used here. That means the case value is already used previously. That is 65 is already used. That's why we should not write another case with 65. That means if we write duplicate case values, then we get a compilation error. Now we see another one. Another example. Now we see what happens when we give floating point values. So in one case we are giving integer value 65. In another case we are giving floating point value 65.9. And now we observe what happens if we give floating point values. Now observe here, we got error. We got compilation error. So what is the error here? Case label doesn't reduce to an integer constant. That means we should write a case value that should be converted into an integer value. In the previous cases, we have given integer value. That means integer value converts to integer. In another cases, we have given character values. Again, character values, they are also converted into integer. That's why we didn't get any error. But we should not give floating point values in switch cases. Now we conclude this particular video. What are the different points we have discussed here? In the switch cases, we can give integer values. We can give character values, and we can give an integer expression. We can also give character expression, and we can give a mixed expression containing integer and character values. But duplicate case values are not allowed. Finally, floating point values, they are also not allowed in the switch cases.